doing? It's Julia. This week I am working on something that is completely out of my realm, something I've never done before. A dear friend of mine gave me her riding jacket and wanted me to see if I could make like a tote bag or some kind of a bag for her. And it's been a while since she gave this to me, but she said there was no rush. But she's soon to be retired, and I thought, what a perfect gift for her retirement. Now, this jacket is her riding coat. They used to have horses, and they don't anymore. So she wore this for many years, and it does have some wear and tear on it. She did mention that the inside has a burn hole in it. She was wearing it to a bonfire and just something happened. But it really has a fond memory for her. And so I thought, would it be cool if I could somehow keep some of that, maybe on the inside pocket or something. Not sure what I'm going to do. It does have like a Velcro pocket here that maybe I can use, and also a zippered pocket on this side that I'm hoping I can, make use of. Another thing too, I want to try to use the zipper. It's in really good shape. It's a big hunking metal zipper. I don't know. It might be too much work to try to get it out, but if I can, I'm gonna see if I can keep that. Going to be doing some major deconstruction on it first of all. I'm going to try to take that zipper out, and just see what I can come up with. And we'll see. I'm not going to do that I'm not going to film that part. I'll just probably watch a good movie or something and just slowly work on this. And then we'll see what happens. I'll be back with hopefully hopefully an idea in my mind. Okay, to catch you up, I did some deconstruction on this. Took me a long time to get this zipper out, but I did manage. It's in really good shape. It opens and closes really easily, so I'm going to use that. I managed to get the inside zippered pocket, and I'm going to just use it like it is as a patch pocket in the lining. We'll have to turn this part under, get that pressed out, and then just stitch it to the back, to the lining. And then this one too is just this little velcroed one that I too will use as a patch pocket in the lining. And then this bonfire thing I'm gonna also use somehow. I'm not sure yet. It just might be part of the lining as well. I'm going to link a video that I found on YouTube that I'm just using some of the dimensions, and also it's just a really good video on a recessed zipper, and I'm going to put that recessed zipper in this tote bag. Her dimensions were 30 inches by 19, approximately that. And she didn't have a seam at the bottom. I'm going to have the seam at the bottom. I was able to get the back part of it cut from the back of my jacket. So I'm going to take a 1/2 inch seam at the bottom. So this is about 15.5 inches by 19 inches. Okay, so that's going to be the back of my tote. I am going to do a patch pocket, a large patch pocket on the back of this as well. And then for the front of my tote, this is the patch pockets, or the kangaroo pockets in the front of this. This is where the zipper was. I'm going to just use this for the front. Don't know if she's really going to be able to use these pockets, but I think it'll be just kind of a neat look. So what I'm going to do is open up this and just top stitch this, so this is one piece again. And then I'm going to cut out the same dimension on this, and I'm going to stitch that 1/2 inch bottom on there. And then we'll get, I'm going to do that, and then we'll see how much further I'm going to get on this. I do want straps, and I'm going to be able to get the strap. Was some fabric left at the bottom of this before I cut this piece out. And also the sleeve has enough fabric. I think I'm going to have to do a mitered. I'm going to have to piece those handles by doing a mitered stitch on them. But that's going to be okay. I think I'm going to just... we'll see what see what happens, but I'm going to link that video down below for you because that's how I'm going to do the zipper part. I've been doing a lot of figuring and cutting and trying to sort all this out, and I'm going to show you what I've gotten so far. This is the front and the back. I was able to close that in. I stitched a seam across the bottom. And then I did notch out for the boxed bottom, 1.5 inch little square. And then I'm starting to get some of my patch pockets on as well. This happened to be, so this is on the back, and it happened to be part of the sleeve. I really had not much of this jacket left. The hood is left. I did not use the hood at all. But a lot of the, like the strap ended up being most of the sleeve. I did have a little bit left on part of the sleeve that I was able to do the patch pocket. And I had this really fun cotton, just of these cowboy boots, and I wanted to line the whole thing in, and I didn't have enough. So I did decide just to line the pocket. And then I'm also going to line the part on the top where the zipper is, which you're going to see quite a bit of. Every time you open your bag, you're going to see that part of it. So I just thought that'd be fun. And just a little bit about the interfacing, a stabilizer, and the other rest of the lining that I'm using. This is the back, this is the lining, and I did line it with fusible medium weight interfacing. This particular outer is this is really a heavy, stiff canvas, and I'm not doing anything. I'm not putting a stabilizer in it. I'm not doing anything to this. This has got enough body to it. But the lining I felt needed a little something, so I did add the fusible interfacing to the back of this. And okay, I'll show you. The lining is just a grunge black. It has some gray in it, and I think that's just going to be appropriate. It'll hide some of the, any dirt or whatever gets in the bag. But this is what I ended up with. On this side of the lining, I'm keeping this patch pocket that's Velcroed. And these are just pinned. I haven't sewn anything into place yet. And then right here, I'm just going to add that hole. I'm going to stitch around it several times so that nothing will get stuck on there. And I have it pinned now, but I'm just going to stitch that into place. Okay, so that's going to be that side of the lining. And then on this side of the lining, I was able just to save that whole zippered little pocket. And so that is what I'm going to just stick there. And again, just sew that completely on, which I probably am going to do next. And then I'm going to add the straps because I want those sewn onto the front before I put this all together. For the straps, this I cut from the sleeve, so I used both the sleeves, and I did have to miter I had to piece it, and I just mitered it. What I'm going to do I'm just going to take both of these pieces to the center and then do that thing with it and stitch down. So there'll be 1 inch wide straps. And then I'm going to share how I'm going to attach those. So I'm going to sew these, get all my patch pockets into place. I did fold it and stitched both long ends. This is extremely durable, sturdy, thick. And so it's going to work great for straps. What I think I'm going to do on it is, there's no way I'm going to be able to really fold it under, I don't think, and neatly stitch And so I'm going to add some leather to the bottom of it. This is real soft, and this particular piece matches this quite well. So I'm going to go with that one. These were samples. You can tell by the little holes on the top. I'm going to run it through my Sizzix Big Shot. I do have this old die. It's Sizzix 657723. It's labels and buttons. And I think I'm going to use this one. I have my leather all cut. I'm just going to place it over the ends of each of these straps. Take this to my sewing machine, and I am going to stitch the top part of this first, just to keep that held in place before I stitch the whole thing to my tote bag. I've got the little leather parts just stitched on at the top, and now I'm measuring down 2.5 inches down and 2.5 inches in, and I'm just drawing a line with my water soluble pen right at the bottom of this, just so I have a mark there. It's just difficult for me to pin this through the leather, and so I'm just going to mark it, and then when I get to my sewing machine, I'll have a placement for it as I stitch. Again, I'm making kind of making this up as I go along, trying to figure out what the easiest way is going to be just to get these on. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I sew on a Janome memory craft for most of my decorative stitching. A lot of my free motion stitching is done on that machine. This machine, I have two machines, and this one is my Juki straight stitch. This is the TL2000. It's wonderful for bag making. The stitches are really even, and it goes through lots of thicknesses. It's a real workhorse. And I'll put a link down below if you can kind of, I'll just do an Amazon link. And I did purchase this one through Amazon probably 5 years ago or so. It's just really, like I said, really a workhorse. Because I am doing leather on this, I debated whether to change to a leather needle, but I think I'm not going to. I'm just going to use my regular, this is like a size 14, so it is a little bit heavier needle, and just going to go with that. And then, like I have my little mark there. I'm just going to hold that into place while I do the stitching on this. Okay, I do have my straps sewn on. They're not perfect, but I do like the way the leather adds to it. That part is done. It's back to the zipper. I've already completed this zipper tab on this side of it. And now for this side. I want this to measure the same distance across here. And so I am going to have to cut my zipper down. Now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch this, enclosing that zipper part. And I know people are going to ask me how I'm going to sew over this metal zipper. I'm not going to. I'm going to stop before I get to the metal zipper. I might do a little bit of wiggling. Maybe I can get a stitch in there, but I'll walk my machine over it if I need to. I'm just going to try to avoid it and then continue stitching on this side. And then what I'm going to do is fold this back. I'm going to stitch right here on both of these just to hold that into place. So I'm going to do the same on this one. After this is stitched, I'll fold it back and stitched beyond that zipper. My tabs are on, Now I'm going to flip my zipper face down, and this will be sewn with my lining on top. And so my zipper is going to be sandwiched in between. I'm going to clip this and then stitch it, just lining everything up. This is a really wide zipper. I'm going to stitch it 1/4 of an inch away, and I don't think I'm even going to use my zipper foot, and I probably won't even have to move my zipper pull. But I'm going to go ahead and take care of that, and then I'll be doing the same to the other side, be enclosing my outer and my lining, and get that in place. Next is I'm going to attach the zipper insert to the front of my bag, keeping the lining free. I'm just going to put some clips in this. And then I'm going to stitch across. I got this side stitched, and again, this is left loose. And now I'm going to bring up the back of the tote and stitch this, and again, leaving the lining free. Put some clips in, and then stitching across. I've got both of my fronts now sewn to the zipper insert, and again, I left my linings free, and now I sew the lining of the tote to the lining of the insert. I want to sew right sides together. And I'm going to stitch that. That side is done. Now to fold this, the bottom, again, the top again, up to this, the lining to the lining, clip, and sew this one. My bag is attached to the zipper insert, both the right sides and the lining. And now it's a matter of sewing up the side seams. So I've got all the bag on the left and all the lining on the right. I do have my sides clipped now, and I just wanted to share with you, I did not open up this particular seam. I'm just folding those towards the bottom of the tote. And then on the zipper tab, I did fold that zipper tab, and that is folded towards the lining. And again, this one particular seam, I'm just not opening the seam, I'm just folding it towards the bottom. And then on this side, I did mark a 7-inch opening that I'm not going to be stitching. I'll start here, back stitch, and then go head down on to this side. The last thing I want to do before I turn it through that opening I left in the lining is I'm boxing the corners, and I'm just closing them up and lining up the seams, putting a clip in it, and then I'll be stitching across these. So I'm going to do that on both of the outer fabrics, and then I also am working on doing the same with the lining, and again, just getting them pinched together, then opening up the side seam or the bottom seam, putting a clip in it, and then I'll stitch that. And now it's going to be just a matter of turning this bag through this hole. So it's going to take a while because there's a lot of bulk. I'm going to get that done. It'll be fun to see what this actually looks like. I'm excited. Before I get too much further, I am going to close the opening in my lining. I'm just going to fold this under, and I'm just going to stitch that. I'm almost finished with this. The very last thing I'm going to do is to stitch down this zipper insert. Just going to roll that seam. I'm going to put clips in just like that. I'm just going to take a top stitch there, probably about 3/8 of an inch away from the top. I'll be back to show you what it looks like and also share some pictures at the end. I hope you enjoyed this, everybody. This was a challenge for me. I was kind of thinking as I go, but I think she's going to love it. It's just going to be a really good memory for her. Have a great week, everybody. Bye for now.